federal government set new deadline for Eko and Apombon bridges reopening. Journalists in Jigawa State are reminded the need to work for Jigawa government administration. The warring military factions in Sudan accuses each other of violating latest temporary ceasefire. Today is Wednesday, 3rd of Zulhijjah 1444 after the Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is equivalent to 24th of June 2023. I'm Khadija Nurlamin with the news info. The federal government on Tuesday set a new deadline of July 15th to complete repairs and reopen both Eko and Apombon bridges to traffic. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Mrs. Olukorode Kesha, gave the hint in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, after a meeting with the contractors on the project. Kesha, rising from the meeting with Buildwell Plant and Equipment Industries Limited contractors handling both projects, said the firm gave expert advice on the need to complete some critical aspects. She said there were some underlying repairs that must be completed before reopening to ensure the durability of infrastructure, while appealing for patience and understanding of road users. Apombon Bridge was affected by fire in March 2022. An effort for its December completion was stalled by another fire that affected the Ijora-Olopa section of Eko Bridge on November 4th. The delivery date for Apombon Bridge was extended to May 2023 because some materials for its repairs were used to start the emergency repair of the Ijora-Olopa section. The 4.1-kilometer Eko Bridge links Lagos Island with mainland. It directly links Apombon on the island side. Eko Bridge had been undergoing phased rehabilitation, but the contract for its comprehensive maintenance was awarded in February 2022. The Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf on Wednesday approved the reinstatement of Muhi Magaji Mingado as chairman of the Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission. The reinstatement, according to the governor, will ensure the embattled anti-corruption agency boss complete its tenure. The Punch report that the administration of the immediate past governor, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, had in January 2023 approved the sacking of Rimingado. Rimingado, however, faulted his sacking, saying he was not given a fair hearing. The dismissal came about 2 years after the State House of Assembly recommended his dismissal. The Punch report that he was suspended for a month in July 2021 over his alleged opposition to the posting of an accountant to the agency from the Office of the Accountant General of the state. However, in a statement on Wednesday signed by his spokesperson, Sanusi Tofa, Yusuf said Rimingado was suspended from office by the previous administration in questionable circumstances. AIG Hakim Odumosu, former Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Wednesday debunked news circulating online that he has been appointed as chairman of Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. Reports emerged on Tuesday night that President Bola Tinubu had approved the appointment of Odumosu as the substantial chairman of EFCC. But in a statement, Odumosu, who retired as an Assistant Inspector General of Police, said he was not aware of such an appointment. He described the circulation of the fake appointment as an unnecessary distraction by mischief makers. Daily Trust had reported how Tinubu suspended Abdulrasheed Bawa, chairman of the EFCC. The suspension was announced in a statement last Wednesday by Willie Bassi, Director, Information in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The People's Democratic Party in Benue State has applauded ex-governor Samuel Otom for voluntarily submitting himself to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Tuesday. The PDP said this in a statement by its publicity secretary, Benga Lotium, who noted that this was not the first time a former governor of the state would be invited by the anti-graft agency. In the early hours of Tuesday, news filtered in that Otom arrived at the Makurdi zonal office of the EFCC for a meeting with the anti-graft agency. Our correspondent reported that the former governor rode in a sports utility vehicle with tinted glass alongside a backup vehicle occupied by 2 of his private aides. The convoy arrived at the EFCC office located on Gordon Allo Street, Old GRA Makurdi, around 10 a.m. The ex-governor was promptly led to the office of the zonal commander, Friday Ebelo. One of his former aides, who did not want to be mentioned, told journalists who kept watch on the EFCC office that the invitation was normal. You are listening to the news from the studio of Sawaba. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Working journalists in Jigawa State have been reminded of the need to work towards propagating the ideals of Governor Malam Umar Namadi-led administration in the state. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Malam Hamis Muhammad Gumel, made the appeal when he received the executive members of the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) Jigawa State Council, who paid him a congratulatory visit in his office. He noted that journalists, as members of the third estate of the realm, have a duty to educate and inform the people on government policies and programs in order to win their support and confidence in the administration. He assured that the NUJ that all their needs should be looked into with a view to provide a leveled working ground among them. Earlier, the state chairman of the NUJ, Comrade Garba Lango, announced that the purpose of the visit was to congratulate the new chief press secretary to the governor on his appointment and solicit for his support in the conduct of the union's activities. 9,000 vulnerable were benefiting from the state and federal government basic healthcare provision fund in Gumel local government area. The Director of Programs, Jigawa Contributory Healthcare Management Agency, Dr. Mahmoud Abdul Wahab, made this known when he led a team of the agency to the Emir of Gumel. He said the program started 3 years ago with 160 vulnerable in 42 wards of the 4 local government areas of the Emirates. Dr. Mahmoud stated that soon additional of 110 vulnerable in each ward will be registered. He solicited for the support of traditional rulers to achieve the set goals. Responding, the Emir of Gumel, Alhaji Ahmad Muhammad Sani, said 8 persons and children are dying of preventable diseases due to lack of awareness of the program. He pledged to organize a sensitization tour on the programs within the Emirates. Suspected terrorists who attacked Chisu village in Mangu local government of Plateau State on Tuesday night burned 11 people to death. The victims were said to have run to a house in the village for safety after they had sporadic gunshot in the community around 11 p.m. But the assailants pursued them to the place and set the house on fire, leading to their death. A resident of the Chisu community who escaped the attack, Michael Bulus, confirmed the death of the villagers to the Punch in Jos on Wednesday. According to Bulus, the terrorists also burned a church along Mangu to Bokos Road and other properties before making their escape. Bulus said last night terrorists attacked Chisu village of Mangu local government at about 11 p.m. The Kokin Regional Church Council Boy along Mangu Bokos Road in the local government was also burnt by the terrorists along with other houses, vehicles and tricycles before they fled the community. 3 members of a family, including the wife and children of an overseas returnee, have allegedly been abducted in Kwara State. The incident occurred in Okanle, a Federami community in a Felodun local government area on Monday around 11 p.m. The gunmen were said to have invaded the community located near Idofian and kidnapped the victims while they were sleeping in their homes. It was gathered that the wife of a man identified as Sikiru Abiola, who returned to the community from overseas about 3 years to practice farming, and his 2 sons were forcefully taken away by the abductors. The Olubensi of Okanle, who is the Bale community head, Alhaji Abdul Fatai Olasokami, confirmed the incident. He said the gunmen arrived at the community at midnight on Monday when the villagers were already asleep and invaded the house of Alhaji Sikiru and kidnapped the victims. He said the vigilantes in the town responded to the alarm raised by Alhaji Sikiru Abiola. His spokesman for the Kwara Police Command, SP Ajayi Okonsami, confirmed the incident Wednesday evening. The warring military factions in Sudan have accused each other of violating the latest temporary ceasefire. The Sudanese army said the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF) had carried out an attack in North Darfur for a second consecutive day. On Monday, the Red Cross said the ceasefire was not being respected and they had to abort an operation to transfer wounded soldiers to a hospital. Earlier, residents in the capital Khartoum reported a lull in fighting, saying they had had on airstrikes, artillery, or other fighting there. US and Saudi mediators had announced the 72-hour truce on Saturday. Previous truces have been poorly observed. This is the end of the news, but before I go, recap of the major story. You had federal government set new deadline for Eko and Apombo bridges reopening. Journalists in Jigawa State are reminded the need to work for Jigawa government administration. The warring military factions in Sudan accuses each other of violating latest temporary ceasefire. On behalf of the head of news department, Salamatu Liman, our editor Aisha Muhammad Lawan, our continuity announcer Halima Hassan Ibrahim, our online editor Umar Muhammad, I am Khadija Nulamin saying good afternoon.